What's up? Good morning, everybody. I hope you're all doing well. We're here once again in Yokohama with our great friend Glenn.
Hey, good morning, everyone, and thank you for following us all the time.
Man, so Glenn, what are we introducing today?
An interesting coffee that we're going to introduce to you today.
One of my favorites.
Oh yeah,
100%,
yeah.
100%.
And hey, frankly, it's one of my favorite too. It's beans from Guatemala, coffee from Guatemala. You know, Guatemala is one of the country that's famous in producing coffee, and not just simply coffee. I mean, specialty coffee. One of the top producers of great quality coffee.
Right.
Yeah, because of its condition, the weather, the water, the land, the soil, the everything. It's just so perfect for coffee. Yeah. So today we're gonna be producing the presenting to you the Guatemala Esperanza Natural.
And natural, that's the process which they process the beans after they pick the cherries, right?
Right, yeah. And the ranking of this coffee is on a top specialty. Remember what I told you? The common, the commercial coffee, the commercial brand,
Starbucks.
the commercial rank, the commercial ranking. Boop, boop. The premium, we got the premium, which is actually the Jamaican Blue Mountain is actually on the premium grade or the premium ranking. This is the international ranking, and the specialty, the top specialty, and then the top of top. So today, we're going to be introducing the top specialty coffee from Guatemala.
Great.
And the coffee is, the elevation of this, the farm is about between 1,400 to 1,800 ASL above sea level.
Wow.
That's high.
Yeah, that's really high. Yeah.
That is high, yeah.
Yeah, just multiply that by about 3, you'll get roughly in the ballpark of feet.
Right. And again, just like what my brother Jim said and mentioned, that the process is natural or natural. The type of beans that we're going to be presenting here is a variety of Arabica. It's called Caturra. The Caturra is actually its parent, its origin came actually from bourbon, which is quite famous back in. The origin is from Brazil, actually, yeah.
Wow.
So Brazil is quite known for yellow bourbon, producing yellow bourbon, white bourbon, red bourbon, that kind of a variety of
Right,
beans,
and
right?
I do remember that a while back, you did have a red bourbon from Guatemala.
Yeah, we had a
I don't know if it was the same farm or I think it was a different farm.
It's a different farm,
Okay.
actually, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, Caturra is actually distinguished. It's more of a low than the bourbon, actually. More than a low character. Actually.
Interesting.
It's more of a mild to low acidity, actually, and the fruitiness, and it's also even the sweetness. So,
Okay.
but it's quite famous in famous in its character of bright acidity, actually. The bright acidity, actually.
Okay.
Yeah. So again, the process here is natural or natural. Let me just simply give you a brief introduction about the process of this natural. It's one of the classic or one of the most used in countries that has shortage in water.
Okay.
Actually, the reason is that since there is no much water to use on if you're growing on top of that elevation, what they do is the process is they don't wash it, but they let it dry, or they call it the sun dry, or the sun dry or natural. They let it stay there for 2 to 3 weeks, and then they let it dry. But every day they have to rake it and to turn the beans upside down just equally, so it will dry up equally and perfectly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let me ask: Do they pull the beans out of the cherry before they let them sun dry, or does it dry altogether?
That's a very good question. Yes, they let it dry until it's about ready to be separated from the bean.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So nothing is there. So all comes naturally.
Okay. Interesting.
And then when after the process, after 2 to 3 weeks more, just considering also of the condition of the beans, and if it's about ready to be taken off, then they put it in a machine to separate between the cherry and the bean from the bean and from the cherry.
Okay.
Too. Yeah. Now again, that is actually practiced traditionally in countries like in Africa.
That makes sense.
Especially, yeah.
Not a whole lot of
Yeah,
water.
yeah, Yemen and particularly Yemen and Ethiopia.
Ethiopia? Okay.
Yeah, but you know what? It produces a great tasting character actually. It's very interesting natural process. Personally I like it, but when I found out the wash,
What was the Colombia? Was Colombia washed?
washed.
Colombia was washed.
Yeah.
That's right. Because it was completely separated from the fruit. Yeah.
And you get all
and you still got some really, really, really good, interesting flavors.
Interesting, huh?
Yeah, I was surprised.
Yeah. So today we're gonna be showing you or presenting to you 3 brewing methods. So we're gonna be introducing first time in the history of 2 men
2 guys and a bean.
and a bean.
It's not guys. It's not 2.5 men. It's not 2 men and a baby.
Okay, so we're gonna be using the Chemex this time. Chemex is perfectly usually used with a Chemex filter actually. It's a big paper. It's quite large. I was surprised when I first found out many years ago. I was like, what? How do you use that thing?
Yeah.
It's like, when I found out, it's like, wow, that's cool. But actually, where it's all originated, it was I forgot his name, but let me say, Peter Schlumbum. Peter Schlumbum, during the year 1939 to 41, he started introducing. He's a chemist. He's an inventor.
Okay.
During his time. So Chemex is a similar form to hand pour, but the only difference that he uses only the paper filter.
Paper filter,
right?
okay.
And it has 4 different folds. It's just a paper.
And does it?
But
it feels just like the paper filters for the V60.
Yes, it is actually
same kind of material.
Right.
It look like, just looking at it, it actually looks like it would be smoother or glossier, but it's the exact same kind of paper that they're using.
Right. But don't get me wrong, please. When you see the size of paper, oh wow, I can get it from my printer. No. That's a different paper, okay? This is designed for a Chemex filter, actually. Now, Chemex is actually the inventor himself actually called this he characterizes this as a synthesis of logic and madness, meaning to say that even a moron can make good coffee. It's funny. That's how he put it, actually.
Yeah, I was gonna do the regular V60 pour over, but now that you say that, I should probably do the Chemex.
And like, no. Now I don't want to do it. Yeah, it's very simple, and yet it is kind of elegant.
Yeah.
Originally, most Chemex you can find on the internet or you can buy is actually the same similar design. It has about the glass. What do you call it? Saturated glass and the leather lace and the wooden stuff like that. But I wanted to use this one here because it has more of a wider, like a V shape. A V shape. That means that holds the paper firm. Yeah. So that's very important. So now when you do the Chemex, make sure that your paper has to be in this position. And then take out one first layer and let the 3-layer facing, put it in your Chemex bottle, and make sure that it's facing where the water,
spout.
the water spout.
Okay.
Okay. And so that's what it is actually. And what we can do is we're gonna be, of course, as the same process from. You have to warm it up just to watch the way. Okay. The paper is...
Yeah, I would imagine, especially being a brown paper. Do they make the white paper for the Chemex?
Yes, they do. But when I ordered, there's none available, so I sell for this.
Sounds about right.
Not only that, but also to warm your Chemex server, okay? They call it the Chemex server. Make sure that you rinse it and equally and thoroughly, okay? That would... Let it stay for about a minute or less. Okay?
Just get everything nice and warm, kind of an even temperature.
Yeah. So now, as soon as you get the paper wet, it means it has more firm position in its place, and just like this. So it's just not going to be so easily going down together with the granules of coffee. Okay, so this is about warm enough because I had my hot water in a 95 or 97 actually, and that was before we started, and so now I'm sure that it has about 90 to 85 right now.
Okay. Are you going to go ahead and start brewing now with that?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought we were going to talk about all of them first.
Okay.
No. I mean, if you're ready to start brewing, it might be nice to show everyone like one by one.
Sure. Yeah.
Like how things are going to be brewed.
Okay. Can it be seen properly? Okay. Or shall I go?
What in the world, man? I spent so long getting our camera angles ready and all that. Do you want to put that on this?
Sure. Yeah. Yes, thank you. Very good.
There we go.
Okay. Today,
move the V60 so the Chemex is front.
Yeah, sure. Our first presentation will be showing you the Chemex. Next will be followed by nail coffee method using the cloth. Later on, we will introduce that to you, and lastly, we're going to do the
standard
the standard
V60.
gold mesh.
Yeah,
but I have a gold mesh, a
Glenn,
new one.
Glenn, who do we have to thank for that?
Oh yeah, my aunt from Cali.
Oh wow! Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for sending it to me from California, Miss Aunt Eleanor.
Yeah.
Okay.
And like the reason, because we were talking about it earlier, you had wanted to do a French press, but the reason I wanted to go ahead and do the hand pour with the regular mesh is because that's kind of like our baseline test. It's what we've been testing everything against, and we want to really see the difference in the flavor profiles between our standard mesh, the Chemex with the paper filter, and the Nell with the cloth.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's a very good suggestion.
I'm actually really excited to see how that turns out, especially since
it's true.
Last week we had such a difference in the 3 different brew methods.
Oh yeah. I'm having goosebumps hearing that. I keep watching that again and again. I like that. But anyway, make sure that when you are about to brew Chemex, or if you have one available at home, make sure that your milling will be more coarse, okay? Not very, but coarse is almost a little bit coarse than the usual French press, okay? So I'm gonna be brewing about 25 grams of coffee
Grounds.
coffee ground.
There you go.
Okay, so 25 grams. For 25 grams, you have approximately about 6 ounces of water, or 5+ ounces of water. But for me, I'm using ml.
Yeah, milliliter.
Milliliters. Milliliters. I'm gonna be brewing 25 grams of coarse grind of coffee.
So this is it's a coarse grind.
It's
not a medium.
Yeah, it's coarse.
Interesting. Wow, that's very coarse.
Yeah.
And that's only for the Chemex.
That's for the Chemex.
Okay.
And for about 370 ml of water. That's approximately about 2 cups of this size.
2 really small cups. Yeah.
2 small cups of this size. So again,
those of us in America, we use much bigger mugs.
Yeah.
When we drink our coffee.
So I'm using the measurement. So to make sure that we'll be giving you the right measurement, and the right tasting notes actually will come out. Okay, that's 25, and you're the witness.
Yeah, that's interesting that it's a coarse grind and not a medium grind, because it's still a pour over.
Yeah, it is, huh? But because it's paper and it has 3 different layers in it, so
it's going to drain a little bit slower, so you don't want it to absorb too much by milling it too fine.
Exactly.
Okay.
If you notice that in your Chemex that it brews a little slower, that means you probably have the wrong course of it, or the wrong grind of your beans. And secondly, but if it's too fast, then probably it's too coarse. Okay, so you have to have the right and perfect.
And that is a really coarse grind.
Yeah, that's close to
than...
similar to sea salt.
Yeah.
Yeah, similar to sea salt. Okay, so pour in your 25 grams of ground coffee. Okay? And then shake it. Shake it mildly. Okay? Make sure that this time we're not gonna make any shape just like a volcanic shape. Just make it like even and flat.
Okay, so you want like a flat bed.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
There you go. And then start pouring on your water in the middle. Same process, just like what we usually do in hand pour. Okay, that will be like in the same process right here.
They can't see that. Sorry.
I'm sorry. Sorry. There you go.
Guys, we'll work on our camera angles next week.
Okay.
And what's the timing on this? Is it
All right. This is approximately about between 3.5 to 4.5 minutes actually.
interesting?
And as soon as you start pouring in your water for 370 ml, when it starts to bloom. Okay, and wow, I'm doing it perfectly right. Yeah. Again, don't hit the edge or the paper itself when you're brewing, and don't focus on one single area to brew your coffee, because it will burn the coffee. It will react weird, and you will have only a bitter tasting coffee.
Is there any kind of an engagement period like you have with the V60?
Yeah, actually, it's almost the same. It's like we usually have about 30 seconds. This is about wait until it's about close to a minute, actually.
Okay.
Yeah. So 45 is perfect.
45 seconds?
Since
is that when pouring. Now is that so you start pouring, you could set a timer for 45 seconds and start
exactly
pouring.
Yeah, that's about it. And so,
then just kind of wait,
and then repeat again, and the same circular motion or spiral motion. Okay.
You can see the difference in the carbon or the CO2 release.
Yeah.
On the second pour, it's a lot. They're bigger bubbles. It's a lot more frothy, I guess.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
Whereas like your first pour, you get a nice, really
blooming
tight,
thing, right? Yes.
tight foam.
Yeah. Wow. That looks interesting. Oh yeah. There you go. Wow. This is interesting. Okay, so that's about it.
That's it.
That's about. We have like about 3 minutes plus in my timer to say. Yeah, so again, discard the filter.
That looks a lot easier to discard than than the V60 paper.
That's true. Discard the paper and your use filter, and then serve it. Which one do you want to use?
You know, it doesn't. I'll take the one that's closest to me.
All right. So we're gonna be cupping.
Bro, rookie mistake. He didn't open the glasses yet. Oh my god.
I forgot. I was just so hyped with the Chemex. So I was so hyped with the Chemex. Forgive me. Again, you need to also warm your cup before serving your Chemex, because it's gonna be really nice. You have that nice, really tasty coffee.
Yeah, I mean, it's really like a cherry on top.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because it's not something that's necessary. It's not really going to affect the flavor of the coffee, but your coffee will cool a lot faster.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. All right. So let me serve my host.
Well, but we're at your house.
Okay. Wow, look at that. There you go.
Merci.
Yep. Again, this is a Guatemala Esperanza Natural from Catuay beans, a variety of Arabica. All right, so let's talk about the cupping notes of this coffee. It's very interesting because, quite interesting to say, since it has a mix of since the father of the Catura is bourbon, so it produces such an interesting character of its cupping notes, on its tasting thing. Now, first, when I smell, I can smell the floral flavor of it.
Yeah.
And that's the aroma of the. Yeah. And
very floral, not very much of a dark smell to it. The Columbia last week had a darker
impression.
Like that dark. You could taste or smell that really bitter chocolate note when you smelled it along with the floral. This to me, this is just almost a very light floral.
Yeah. Okay, so
aroma. Interesting. I'm hit immediately with the acidity, and then it just goes away to a very smooth, silky, not a long aftertaste.
I find the nut flavor, the nutty flavor of this, and you got the floral aroma, and then when you taste it, you got the nutty flavor of this. And yeah,
this is very interesting because it does not taste anything like when I brewed it at home in my V60.
Oh, okay.
Not at all. You get a lot more of the acidity up front with this.
So the kind of acidity that I can taste here now, it's I can see now the bright malic acidity of it. It's like have you ever tasted an unripe apple? Like specifically the green.
Yeah, green apple.
Yeah, that kind of a malic acid tasting thing. You know, it's not something.
But it doesn't linger. It hits you right away and it's gone. There's really not a lingering aftertaste on this coffee. Yeah. At least when it's hot.
So don't worry, it doesn't linger there, so it's not going to stay long, meaning. So it has about a mild body for me. For me, it has about a mild body.
Yeah, it's
doing
very mild.
The chemics.
Very mild, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure it will change doing the different method, the nail method. Yeah.
Well, I mean, the funny thing is that in the cupping notes of this, there is no mention of apricot, and when I brew this at home with the V60 with the white paper filters, I get a distinct apricot note, kind of on the mid, and it just makes me wonder, like, what of these flavors kind of combine to give that to me?
Different, huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's just really interesting.
Wow. Yeah. I also get the that lasting taste. You have like a taste of for me, it's a dark bitter chocolate. Like what you can get from the store, like 80% or 75%. Yeah. For me, that's how I taste it, and it's again. Personally, I have the impression of a strong malic acid, but it's not harmful to your health. It's okay. Don't worry about it.
It's interesting because the Columbia had that bright acidity to it that just kind of lingered on the sides of your tongue.
Yeah, that's right.
This has none of that. Like absolutely none. It's very smooth, very silky. You do get that bright acidity up front, that just kind of hits the tip of your tongue momentarily. It doesn't really affect it doesn't affect the flavor,
right?
It's just kind of that feeling of the acidity, but the flavor is very mild, very pleasant.
Right.
On the back, as it's cooling, I do start to get a little bit of the chocolate on the back of the palate.
And to sum it up, it's quite elegant. It's an elegant taste. You know, again, introducing to you different brewing methods and drinking it black gives you a different character of the coffee,
it really
and understanding about what coffee is all about. Oh wow, that's why specialty coffee. Someone asked me, how do they get that kind of flavor? Do they put something on the soil? Do they put it like on a fertilizer? Do they cure it with something on the beans or on the tree trunk or something like that? No.
It's the natural flavor.
Exactly.
That's what your coffee beans are supposed to taste like.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't add flavor to an apple to make it taste like an apple.
An apple.
It just tastes like an apple.
Right.
And
yeah.
you have different varieties of apple that taste different when you bite into them.
Yeah.
But they're all still apples. You're not adding something or taking something away to make them taste like that. It's
Exactly.
just naturally what they are.
Yeah. And, very interesting. They said some professionals actually noted this as the profile is it has a rosé wine. But for me, I might
let
probably...
it let it cool a little bit, because I am tasting a little bit of that as cool as
Really?
it hits the upper back part of the palate.
You know what? I'm interested right now. It's like I feel like I want to do the gold mesh.
Yeah, I mean,
right now.
well, I mean, while you're doing the nail, I can go ahead and brew the gold mesh, because everyone's seen us do it, however many times at this point. So we don't really need to front and center focus on this. It's just for our own tasting comparison. Yeah, I mean, for our tasting comparison and to convey to you guys, what the difference in flavor is. Hey.
Okay, so we're done with the Chemex. Okay, we're done with the Chemex, and we're gonna be introducing to you next to find out the cupping notes of what we call the Nel. Nel was quite famous back in Southeast Asia, particularly Malaysia. Countries like Singapore, I heard that someone has been doing this in a shop in Taiwan, and they said. So I asked, where's that Nel came from? They said it's originally from Malaysia. Oh, okay, and Indonesia. They usually use the Nel coffee. Okay.
Interesting.
The Nel brewing. Now, if you are new to this, it's okay. So if you search and your first time to buy a Nel filter, what I can advise you is boil it in 5 minutes of water, and then after washing it for 5 minutes, you
wring it out.
Yeah, wring it out properly, and damp it with a towel or paper towel is better. And then again, we're gonna be doing the same process.
And is that just the first time you get it? That's not every time. That's not every time you want to use it, right?
Right.
Okay.
And then after that, after using the Nel, they advise also. Some professionals said that they put it on the Ziploc and put it in a freezer. There are Nel filters that can be taken out from the ring or from its frame, but this one is I don't. But I have one like that too that I can take it out, but it's a bit smaller. It's just good for 2 cups actually. So yeah.
If you go to Unison in Hakone, they have the coffee bath, and they use a huge Nel drip. That's what they use, and that's how they advertise.
Wow!
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, it's huge, and they're brewing fresh coffee. I'm guessing it's probably top of top specialty that they brew in. Probably the lowest of commercial grade you can get, but it's a great experience. If you guys ever end up in Japan, Hakone Unison.
Oh yeah,
it's excellent. Soak for hours in a bath of hot coffee. It's amazing.
And they have different flavor too. They have tea bath. They have
red wine,
and they have the purple bath and
sake.
Sake, yeah. All right, again, the same process. Now we're gonna do the Nel again. For Nel, a lot of people prefers the course is more.
Do we need to heat more water?
Sure. Yeah. Very more coarse than the French press. Very coarse to say.
So it's interesting that these two are both coarse grind.
Yeah. So both Nel and Chemex has the same course of coffee bean actually.
So it's the same grind, very coarse.
Same grind actually. The same grind.
That's interesting that you use the coarse with these two, but you don't with this. But you were telling us last week that the Nel actually drains a lot slower than
right, because of its character. It's made of cloth. Another thing is also Nel is actually more solid and full-bodied to say, as they say it, as
Okay.
many say it. So we're gonna be brewing about almost the same, 50, not almost the same, exactly the same, about 25 grams
Okay.
of
Coarse grind.
coarse grind. Okay. 25, give me 25. Okay. I hear. Am I hearing 30? No. Okay.
Don't tempt me, bro.
So 25. Oh.
Do you already have coffee ground for the?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
it's right in front of me.
Yep.
Do I need to measure this out? Or
Yes,
we good?
sir.
You already measured it?
No.
Or no?
Yep.
Oh.
You can make 30 or 25 if you want.
What is this? You said about 12?
That? Yeah, 12.
That's 12.
For,
So about, what?
to the brim.
Oh, mercy. It doesn't fit in there, bro.
Okay. First off,
Oh, you know, I almost made a rookie mistake.
we need to warm up again. Warm it up. I'm gonna be brewing 25 of the coffee granules or the ground coffee with the 370 this time. First we did the 375. This time it's about 370. 370 ml to 25 grams of your coffee. Okay? Coarse grind.
So it's only a 5 milliliter difference.
Yeah, it's only about 5 millimeters. 5 milliliters. Yeah. 5 grams. Sorry.
Well, I've weighed milliliters and grams and they're about the same.
All right. Then,
But you're using the same amount of coffee. You're just using 5 milliliters less of water for the Nel.
right. Yes. Exactly. Okay. And then pour in your coffee into your Nel filter. There we go. Now, what to do, this is interesting. Make sure that you have a bamboo wooden stick to put it all together. Hit until the bottom on the side, and like a sawing motion.
There you go.
Sorry. and then, do you have a penny?
A penny? I don't.
Now this is interesting. Yeah, put a hole in the middle, just like a penny.
About the size of a penny. Okay.
Right, about the size of a penny.
Interesting.
Don't hit until the bottom, the end of it. Okay, just put a hole in it, just like a size of a penny. Okay.
So used to doing this at home, I almost used my finger to
Uh-huh.
make a crater.
What is smaller, a dime?
Yeah.
Sorry, dime.
So a dime size, about a dime size hole. Okay.
I'm not American. I'm so sorry.
There's not much of a size difference.
All right, then you start pouring in, hitting in the middle, and around the hole that you start shaping in your nail. Okay, so pouring in 80, approximately about 80 degrees centigrade. I'm using this centigrade here. So this is about 80 now. Some people say that you get your nail really cold. But please, don't, if you want your coffee hot, don't put it on the microwave if you're doing the nail. What you can do is warm up your cup or your mugs before pouring in your... Okay? So this is about 80 now.
It's still just a circular motion.
Yeah, circular motion about that one. About that. Okay. Wow, I'm interested about the coffee notes of this, the tasting notes of
Yeah.
this. Okay. And then wait for, this is approximately about 3.5 to 4 minutes of brewing.
I don't
And
think I have enough water for this.
oh, really?
Yeah.
I have.
You have enough?
Here you go.
I'm not gonna
No.
mess that up at all?
No.
All right. Oh yeah, you got lots of water, bro. Holding out on me. Come on, man.
Wow. Wow, woo-hoo! I'm so excited to try that because of the new mesh. I mean, I got the real one. I got the real good stuff. It's sad because buying the same product in Amazon JP, it costs
It was what, $100?
$100. So
for something that costs about 20 in the States. Exact same thing.
Yeah.
So with this, what are we still? What's the waiting period, or the resting period, or the engagement period?
right, about 45 seconds.
Same. Okay. So the Chemex and the Nell are almost
Similar,
identical.
Identical.
Other than you want to put a dime size hole in the bottom,
Right.
or in your grounds, and then about 5 milliliters less.
Right, and the course will be, and then it will be more very coarse.
Okay, so this is a little more coarse than you did the Chemex.
Yes.
Ah, I thought they were the same grind. Okay. So the Nell is just a little more coarse.
Wow.
Wow.
Wow. Oh yeah, that's about it. If you need more water, then I still have some water. Wow.
Just a little bit more, yeah. Not much.
So I'm making about approximately about 3 cups, as to be exact.
I'm making as much as I can because I love coffee and I don't want to run out.
And that's just simply my brother Jeff. His is my. We're twins when it comes to coffee.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Where's the coffee coaster that we used?
Excellent question. Where did that go?
Yeah.
It's under the Chemex.
Oh, there you go.
There we go. There we go. Got it.
Wow. Okay, again.
Do we have enough water to warm
Yeah.
cups? Perfect.
Okay, warm up your mugs or your coffee cup.
And we're gonna put this
Yep,
just right over the Nell.
sure. There you go.
Oh, is that gonna stay? The one disadvantage of doing multiple, man, I can smell the floral coming off of this right now. I mean, just from here, you can really smell that floral aroma.
There you go.
It's amazing.
Oh yeah, so excited about that thing. Well, of course, we're kind of excited because we're introducing to you 3 different ways.
Yeah, I mean, this is my first time having a Chemex. This will be, I mean, I had a Nell drip when we first met.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. When I had my when we first met.
Yeah.
Okay, so serving you the Nell brew
Nice.
method.
You can see why, like I can see like Chemex and Nell being something that a lot of hipsters would want to use because it just feels so unique, so artisan. Like, this is the way I brew my coffee.
Oh yeah, right.
Oh man.
Wow. All right.
Alrighty.
Now we're gonna be moving on and trying the cupping profile of this.
Bro,
okay?
I'm too big for Japanese furniture. I'm telling you.
Sorry, we need to look for a bigger house.
Oh man.
Oh wow. It actually introduces itself in a different aroma. I mean, doing
really
the
does.
nail and doing the
I smell more of the nutty profile in it than I did with this. This was pure floral. The Chemex was pure floral when you smelled it. This is a lot more of the macadamia.
There you go. The nutty, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's... Yeah.
Wow. 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 Oh. Comparing from Nell to the Chemex, I found brewed on the Nell more solid for me. It has more body.
It's interesting because with the Chemex, the acidity didn't hit the sides of my tongue at all, whereas with the Nell it does very, very lightly hits the sides of the tongue, and it doesn't hit the front of the tongue as hard as it did with the Chemex.
All right, yeah. So actually, just like what it's professional was saying, that the first impression of the Nell taking Nell is when you drink it, it's somewhat thick. Okay, so it has a. We're done.
I think you're done there too.
All right. Okay.
Just throw it in the microwave.
No. It's gonna be quick. Okay. So.
This, it's just the flavors hit you in a lot more like in a more balanced way.
Yes.
With the Nell, very balanced, very evenly.
Wow.
Nothing really stands out, but it's all there. You get the floral, you get the rosé wine, you get the macadamia nut, you get the chocolate.
Right. When you
not so much. Maybe like a hint of the grapefruit.
Yes. Yeah. Now here it's very strong citric acid taste for me.
Really.
A more full-bodied coffee here, and
I think that's where I'm talking about the acidity hits the sides of the tongue.
Yeah. And it has a silky appearance, right?
Very silky.
Very silky.
Very silky. Which this one was also silky. That remains.
But it's more milder and smooth.
But this one
is solid.
It's a lot more solid, I guess.
Yeah. You know, brewing the Nell is actually, they say, it's very complex, and professionals say that they need the surgeon's hand on it. You do it wrong, you get the wrong notes.
Interesting.
Right.
Well,
so,
I feel like you did it right, because this is a very solid cup of coffee. It tastes amazing. The flavor's all there.
It is.
Nothing seems out of place at all.
Probably one factor probably is because of what kind of beans did we use. Yeah. Back in some areas where they do the Nell, there's a coffee shop that I went to. It was famous in Singapore. Actually, it's called Kopi Roti. They use a giant Nell inside the ovens, in their stoves. It's like, wow. And I tried. I said, "Mom, honey, look! They're doing the Nell brewing there." It's like, wow. But I had it like more of a white bitter for me at that time. Probably because of the beans that they use is ordinary or commercial, to say. Again,
I could definitely see that.
It varies on what kind of beans are you using for your Nell. Okay, so today it's actually my not only my first time, actually, it's first time to brew Nell with Guatemala on a top specialty ranking. A lot better than the
the fruitiness of this really stands out as it starts to cool a little bit. But it's so. It's so good. That's just interesting.
It is.
Whereas this one's cooling off, and you get more of the macadamia nut notes.
The floral is very strong.
Allow me to serve you.
Yeah, sure, please. Thank you. Yeah. So again, this is the Guatemala Esperanza Natural on the top specialty. And this is our final one of the last final brewing method of the gold mesh.
It's our standard V60 mesh.
Yeah.
Well, it's not standard anymore. We got the gold standard.
Yeah, the gold standard.
Go for the gold.
Go for the gold.
And is that why we're drinking it out of these nice, fancy gold cups?
Fancy gold. The gold. I choose gold today because we're going for gold. No doubt, the floral is always present. Floral aroma is always present, and here is not that strong. It's mild, but it's kind of sweet. It has an excellent introduction on your smelling sense. Ooh, wow, it's so nice. It's like before you taste it, it's like you are expecting a sweet coffee.
Yeah.
Not sweet in taste, but like wow, quite romantic. Oh my goodness! I'm telling you, man, nothing is more better than the gold. But you know, very surprisingly, what we did from Nell to the hand pour, I mean, Nell gives you a different character and it's interest, and it you can describe in a quite different from what you can get from.
For me, the Nell really brought all the flavors together at the same level. It's just very smooth. It gets the boldness, it gets the fruitiness, it gets the nutty, the chocolatey. The mesh really seems to bring out the darker, the chocolatey, the macadamia nut notes along with these like a little bit stronger acidity on the front. Just interesting.
Yeah. It's
Yeah, very very floral too.
This is not too sweet actually. There is no sweet, not too sweet note in there, but you can see the blend of the acidity is that you can have that interesting sweetness notes, but not very strong, not very heavy. It's just kind of an impression. Yeah. So this is like more of a have you ever tasted like a Southeast Asian in the Southeast when you do the natural fresh or natural honey? It's not really that simply just like what we get from the market. It's just too sweet. It's more of a sweet and bitter and sour taste.
Interesting.
So that's how I taste it from the gold mesh. Brewing from the gold mesh.
And of course, this is a medium grind as well.
Right, the medium grind. The medium grind I did is separately, of course. It's not coarse. You don't want to do your hand pour on. For you beginners out there, medium will be perfect. Medium coarse is okay. So if you are using a Kalita grinder, I do 4.5 or 4.5 to between 5 to 4.5. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. How about you? You do 4?
I'm doing 3.5 on the grinder that
Yeah. You have
I have on loan.
Yeah. He has it's a Japanese brand. It's called Bommac, one of the famous maker of grinder too, and coffee stuffs like pots and cups or whatever, How's that?
Delicious.
Okay. This is great with something sweet like cake, like cheesecake, or brownies, or if you don't have one at home, get some cookies. Actually, I want to have it like, you know, the chocolate thing that melts in your mouth. The dark chocolate thing that melts. It's so soft. I forgot what it's called.
I wish I could help you.
Anyway.
Like a truffle or?
Oh, the truffle. There you go.
Okay.
Truffle.
Yeah, I could.
Truffle with
this would go great with a good Belgian truffle.
That is actually heaven. That's enough for my breakfast.
You can get those at Caldi, by the way.
Okay. Oh wow! I'm done. I'm ready for another cup. Actually, I was like, wow, this is good. I mean, why not? Why not? Wow. Okay, brewing on a V60 Hario V60 with a gold mesh. So that's the kind of notes that you can get from the Guatemala Natural.
It does. It definitely brings out the bolder notes of the coffee. Where you got some of the more bold notes with the Nell.
The Nell.
But it was still very evenly balanced. The Chemex,
nice.
The Chemex really brought out the citrus and the acidity, but it was still very, very pleasant. And where the V60 with the gold mesh just really brings out those darker notes. You get a lot more of that macadamia nut and chocolate, as well as a very strong floral and aroma, floral. Well, even the floral flavor, the rosé wine. You get a lot. I mean, it's just you get a lot more of the bold flavors along with that.
Right.
Whereas the Nell was very well balanced. This brings out a lot more of the boldness of the coffee itself.
Right. Yeah. Jim was right about that. Exactly everything that he said. I agree. Actually, it's got the from the V60 brew method that we did. The rosé wine is present.
I can tell you what it is that hits my palate that makes me think of apricot. It's the floral with the rosé wine. Those two flavors together hit the same part of my palate as like an apricot, and that's why it just makes me think apricot every time I taste this coffee.
Yeah.
So perfect.
That's wow. So again, when you have it depends on your preferences.
Yeah.
We're here only to introduce to you. We're not saying that what is best and what is perfect. It's all up to you.
Right. I mean, for me, I'm probably gonna go with the V60 with the mesh.
And sometimes switch to the Nell.
I really did enjoy the Nell.
Yeah.
But I don't own one yet, so that's the thing. We can tell you guys that if you want the Guatemala with a very balanced, not so bold flavor, buy a Nell drip. But the problem is that Nell drip isn't going to do the same for every single coffee that you buy.
Exactly. Yeah. Right.
It's so hard to say how a coffee is going to taste.
Yes.
Brewed differently. I mean, just in the last 2 weeks that we've done the different brew methods, it brings out so many different notes in the coffee.
Yes, I agree. Yeah.
My recommendation: buy them all. Buy all the brew methods you can.
I'm just gonna let you finish what you're saying. I'm gonna say the same thing.
Yeah, and find what you like.
Right, exactly.
If you order a good top specialty coffee, brew it different ways. Find out how you like it. I mean, for me, the V60 seems to be the winner.
Right. Yes. But I agree. Yeah.
I mean, even from last week as well with the Columbia. But I think that's because for my palate, I really do like the bolder flavors to come out of the coffee.
So don't use any more paper filter.
Yeah, right. Yeah, the paper. Yeah, it was interesting because with the Nicaragua, the paper filter actually took out some of the sweetness of the coffee.
There we go. So
which is interesting, and that might be why I really liked it at first when I was first introduced to it, is because it was just a really good bold coffee. But when we tasted it together, and I brewed it with paper and you brewed it with the mesh,
That's different.
And you're talking about you can really taste the apricot. I'm like, what? No.
Why am I not having that?
Right, exactly. And it just brings, taking away the paper and using just the mesh, it just allows you to experience the fullness of the coffee.
Right, yeah.
And what it's
That's
supposed
true.
to taste like.
That is true. Again, just like what Jim mentioned a moment ago, it's better to have some of your paraphernalias of coffee. I prefer, instead of buying the plastic or the hard plastic one that they use for hand pour or drip coffee, I would strongly suggest that buy the ceramic.
Yeah.
Why ceramic? And then use the paper because it keeps your coffee warm when you have that hot coffee in there. So it tastes.
It gives you an even brewing temperature.
An even brew.
See, I have the plastic. I have the ceramic, but I also have the plastic. I tend to use the plastic with the paper filter a lot more because I can brew more coffee at once.
Okay, that's because it's bigger.
I got the big one. Yeah, so I can brew a whole pot. Whereas with that, I can brew maybe one gym size cup.
One gym. And also they have a different kind of a filter too, which I bought. You can put it on top of your mug, or you can put it on something that you can pour in. It has a double purpose also. Okay, so and you can also use the paper. For some of you who doesn't want a too bold coffee or too strong coffee, it's fine to use the paper filter. I mean, that's fine. Again, whatever fits in your preferences and whatever fits in your palate. If you want less acid, if you want less oil, less body, then go for the paper. But if you want your coffee a little bold, solid, you want the natural oil that stays on top of your coffee while drinking it. It's just something that you enjoy differently. I mean, I would go for the of course the mesh. Okay, it doesn't matter whether it's the only difference between the stainless and the gold mesh. The stainless goes out is faster than the gold. Okay, so that is why I prefer the gold. So it warms the coffee evenly and it brews perfectly for me. Yeah.
As these start to cool, the Nell drip really flattens out.
Really,
it's just a very smooth flat.
And the aroma changes too.
Yeah, for me, as they cool, you get a lot less of the floral and a lot more of the nutty and chocolatey notes.
Yeah, and you got more of the grapefruit.
Yeah.
When it gets cold.
So
you lose the florals. You lose the floral aroma, and you get the grapefruit taste. For me.
With the Nell.
With the Nell.
Interesting. It's just for me, it's just very flat.
That's probably my flat.
But with the Chemex, a lot more. So with the Chemex, to me, I'm tasting a lot more of the acidity, the grapefruit, as it cools. And on the back end, still that chocolate. It actually tends to linger more on the back of your palate the cooler it gets.
With the
I think it's with all of them. With all of them, the coffee itself seems to linger more on the palate because when it was hot, you take a drink, it hits you with flavor, very smooth in the mouth, and then the flavor fades. But as it cools, it tends to kind of leave that dark chocolate flavor on the back of your palate.
I find it more on the Chemex. I find it more lemony or citric. Citric. What's the difference between grapefruit and citric? They're all same family, yeah. But when you say grapefruit, you have that kind of a lemony taste, but it's got that sour and sweetness that basically blends together, so it's different.
Yeah. So for me, lemon is a very sharp citrus.
Yes, right.
Whereas like grapefruit is a little more of a round citrus flavor.
Very good. Yeah, that's the perfect way of describing it actually. Yeah. Thanks for having me. And I enjoy having a cup of coffee with my dear friend. But you know what? Later on, we're gonna be doing it outside with a
cigar. Heck yeah.
with a cigar from Nicaragua.
We're gonna have to start another channel. 2 guys and a cigar. Maybe.
And with a single malt.
Single malt. Ooh. We gotta start a whiskey channel too, I guess.
Don't forget my cognac.
Maybe a spirits channel then.
Wow. From the hand pour, when it's cooled down, it's hard to describe because it stays almost just like the same.
It's very balanced.
It embraces you, and it's wow.
It's almost what the nail drip was, hot, but with a little bit more boldness.
Right, and when it gets cold, yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect. Really. So again, will it cost you a lot to buy all the paraphernalias? No, you know what? This is only about less than $10.
Yeah.
You can buy it like maybe Amazon US. It's probably about $5-6 maybe. In a ceramic, the plastic will be a lot cheaper.
Yeah.
And here in Japan, it costs only about $8.
Yeah. You can probably get it about similar in the States, and then the mesh filter is another 20.
20, yeah.
If you want the gold mesh, you could get one that's cheaper for like 10.
Right.
Which is what I paid 20 for my steel mesh.
Right.
Because I wanted it now.
And again, hand pour pot. That's they call it the gooseneck pot.
Little more expensive than your standard pot.
You can probably find like $10 worth of 12 between $10 to $20.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. You don't have to have a bigger one, which I have one. The smaller would be okay, and that's only about $15 when I bought it. Yeah, it's a bit smaller. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you really want the fine spout to be able to control your pouring.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. What about the Chemex? What is a Chemex?
The Chemex, golly, man, I will not probably suggest it because it's too expensive. I don't know, maybe here in Japan, I searched from Amazon, Japan, they were like about $290. Raising eyebrow.
Okay.
Like I showed it to my wife, like, honey, look at this. I mean,
is it worth $300 to look cool making coffee?
And the
I mean,
I would go with this,
Oh man, to me that's what the Chemex is it's a very hipster way of making coffee. You see other people on YouTube who kind of just do coffee in the background of what they do, and they use a Chemex, you know.
And plus the paper filter of Chemex, it's stupid. It's expensive.
I mean, maybe we should just use some regular paper and do a review. We'll compare the two. We'll compare the Chemex filter paper and printer paper. We'll get back to you guys on that.
You get a colored notes of your coffee.
This one tastes like a tree.
But actually, you can. The cheapest where I found here in Japan is about $90 to $80.
Wow.
For a Chemex.
Wow.
That's about serves like 6 cups, and this is about 3 cups only, and it was a gift. So I don't know how much they paid for that one. Okay, and for the nail, actually you just have to buy the nail drip, and you can use the filter, the nail filter. And you can use also the Chemex at the same time.
Oh.
The only reason why it's different is
two birds with one stone, right?
Right, yeah. The only difference is that it's more slanted. Yeah. So that means it holds a lot better with the paper filter of the Chemex, like solid.
Yeah.
And the other day I tried the Chemex filter over here. It goes like whoops. And so I was so afraid that when I start pouring the coffee, it becomes too heavy. That it might be like a coffee tea, you know?
Like a tea bag, giant coffee tea bag.
Are you guys brewing on a tea bag? No. So here it's more firm, it's more developed, and it's more solid, and so yeah. But again, you can use the nail filter over here. That you again two birds in one stone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
But thinking about that, you have to buy it separately. So that makes like around, like if you can find a cheaper one, go for it, you know. But if not, then go for the V60. And or more reasonable, buy this and put it on top of your mug or your cup.
Yeah,
and
I
then
mean, you can
put a paper in it and start pouring in your coffee, and voila.
The biggest downside to that I found, because I tried doing that, is that it's hard to tell how full your cup is.
Oh yeah,
and
right.
I have on many occasions overfilled
Right. Yeah.
my cup and made a huge mess.
Well, some professionals, they use a measuring. They use a weighing scale.
Yeah, and that's what I started doing.
Yeah.
And I do that even with my V60.
Yeah.
Just to get the same water to ground ratio.
Right.
With every coffee. You know, so I know that I'm gonna have the same experience every time.
Yeah. But in my experience and the way I prefer it, this is just me sharing to you why I prefer. I kind of memorize the volume of my water in a ordinary cup of coffee and mug and American giant mug. So approximately it has about 180 ml per one, or 100 between 170 180 ml for one single cup of coffee. And for a mug, it will give you like about 300 ml. Yeah, of coffee.
Yeah, I typically brew about 500 ml.
Wow.
In the morning.
If you do 500 ml,
And that gives me 2 decent sized cups of coffee.
if you do the 500 ml and brewing the nail and through a nail and or the Chemex, it will be like about 30 grams of coffee.
Yeah.
30 grams of coffee will be perfect.
Yeah, I do about 35 to 36 with the,
And that would be that's good enough for
the
you.
V60.
Oh yeah, someone asked me, you know, if I buy coffee of 100 grams, and you know, typically when they introduce the nail, they say 50 grams of coffee. Like, wow. It's like when you buy a bag of coffee, it's like half of it is only for one day.
Right.
So now listen, for some of you who have that's too much, you know, 1 cup of coffee actually equals to 10 grams. So if you buy 1 bag of coffee with 100 grams, you get actually about 10 cups of coffee.
Yeah.
Okay. The one that you get from the store.
But remember that's about this size of a cup.
Yeah, that's about this size of cup. Okay.
Yeah, because for our American audience, they have
the mug.
They're gonna have a bigger coffee mug, so you'll get it's about two of these, maybe 1.5 to 2 of these for an American size coffee mug.
So 20 to 25 would be perfect for you guys. Okay.
Yeah, I mean I'm brewing about 35 grams of coffee.
Wow. That's for Jim.
But that's for 2 American-sized mugs. That's 2 11-ounce mugs.
Yeah. Well, that's
of coffee.
Pre-edition.
Yeah, so it's not too bad. But again, I like mine a little stronger too. So I'm getting,
maybe
a little more than 10 grams per cup.
So again, you know, if you are kind of a conservative coffee drinker, 10 is perfectly fine. And if you want to use a bigger mug or a bigger coffee mug than the typical or ordinary coffee cup, you can go all the way to 12 to 15 in a mug. 12 to 15 grams in a mug, okay? And your coffee and your water temperature will be about 85 to 90. 85 to 90, because as soon as you brew, it goes down when it gets to your cup. Okay? So, yeah.
So one final note on these flavors, as the coffee is now cold, the Nell hits you with just a little bit of acidity on the front of the mouth.
Okay.
The rest is just very smooth. The V60 mesh hits you with acidity at the back of the palate. It's so different. And then
it lingers.
Yeah, and the Chemex is just smooth. There's not a whole lot of acidity anymore.
Right.
As it's cold.
As it cools. As it cools down, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's. I mean, this is hitting my mouth like a drink of water. That's where it's hitting my palate. It's
Same.
not. There's no outstanding acidity anywhere. Whereas like the V60, there's just a little bit of acidity standing out that hits the back of the palate, and the Nell has acidity hitting the front of the palate.
There.
It's interesting.
Yeah. Exactly. It's just like water to me now.
Yeah.
Doing the Chemex.
I mean, it's the same coffee bean, just brewed differently, and just the flavor profiles over the time that went from hot to cold,
right,
are just completely different in each cup.
Yeah. So yeah, interesting, really. And again, this is the first time we did in Guatemala into different brewing methods. So I hope you not just simply enjoy this. I hope that you have somehow helped you a little of your questions, or you can ask us some questions, but we may not have, and we may not be able to provide the perfect question. We're not the best around in this coffee thing, but based on our
Glenn,
experiences,
I'm gonna say we're the most experienced people in coffee that I know.
I didn't say that.
I said that I know. I'm talking guys. I'm talking about personally.
Yeah, I know that. I know. Now I finally know about.
What the thing I don't. I'm not a barista. I honestly don't have any desire to be a barista. I know a lot of people who have worked at coffee shops, Starbucks, mom and pop shops,
right?
And I used to rely on them for my knowledge of coffee, and little did I realize what I was getting, and they probably don't even realize what they're
what
getting,
they're serving,
and what they're serving is just a plain commercial grade coffee.
Exactly.
You see Starbucks has all their different blends and stuff, and like I don't know how that works. I don't know how they do that with commercial coffee, if they just take coffees from around the world and say, yeah, this tastes better blended with this coffee. But it's a whole different experience when you start drinking specialty coffee, top specialty coffee. Until I met you, the best coffee I had
Thank you.
was Blue Mountain.
Oh, really?
And that's that's not even a specialty coffee, guys. No. Blue Mountain coffee is good if you're not experienced with specialty coffee.
Right.
It's a great coffee. It's solid. But once you start drinking specialty coffees and realizing that coffee can have so many more different notes, it opens up a whole new world of experience.
Right. Yeah. I have a friend who bought about 15 kilograms of Blue Mountain, and it's on a wooden barrel.
Is this the same friend that tried to kill me this weekend?
Yeah, exactly.
On the mountains?
Yeah. You did thank him for the torture. So,
man.
But you know what? It was interesting at first, but when we start brewing it by hand pour, we did the siphon, we did the machine brew. Nothing too fancy for me.
Yeah.
It didn't even raise an eyebrow. It's like, oh, wow. I think it's about just the name, because they have earned it in a long period of time, in many decades now. And that is why it's still out there. About 15 kilograms, he paid like about $1,000. And that's a wholesale. That's a wholesale price.
Yeah.
So when you brew it, it's about ×4.
Yeah.
So that's $4,000 for 15 kilograms. And you don't get exact 15 kilograms, because when you not brew, but when you roast it, it lessens also the weight.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. You probably get only about 14.5 something. Yeah. 14.5 kilograms. So again, that's what it happens when interesting coffee is dealing with the specialty coffee. All right. Yeah.
Man, good. We have any questions in the chat? We have no questions in the chat.
Wow.
We must be extremely informative today, because no one has questions. You're welcome, America, and the rest of the world.
The rest of the world, yeah. Well, again. You can bring in some questions, and we do hope that we can be able to provide you the answer that you're looking for. But again, it may be what you're expecting, but based on what I have learned, based on my my blunders in the past, my failures in the past. I've learned a lot. It's not just simply trial and error for me. Brewing and roasting my coffee. It's just about trial and learning.
Yeah. I mean,
not error.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, and another thing I did want to talk about is we have had a lot of comments from friends of ours about, hey, I want to watch your stuff, but I don't have an hour to sit around. We will be in the future editing some of this down to a lot shorter segments. That'll be a little more easy to consume, I guess, in spare time.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of having the time and energy to do that.
Right. Yeah. Well, we're not gonna say sorry if it will take some of your time, but what we can bring you here today is a little of the information that you should know. It's really hard to edit this. It's really hard to make it a little short to say. But otherwise, we're just gonna be stop talking and just brewing in the show today. Or we're gonna be like,
which some people might just want the tasting notes on the coffee, and that's fine. And that's kind of what we're gonna try to do is show the brewing methods up close and give you the tasting notes. Something that's a little easier to consume for people who don't have a lot of time. This is what we're doing now. It's a live show. It's meant to be a live show, but we would like to grow our audience and start to bring in people who don't have time to watch us live, or don't have time to sit down and watch an hour and a half of amazing coffee content, guys. Amazing coffee content. So we'll be bringing some shorter videos here in the near future.
Next time we'll try to bring you doing the siphon. I have two different beans that came in from Peru. It's called the Tungki Imambaki.
What's that in English?
Narnia. It's none of our business. but it's my first time to acquire these beans, and it's on a specialty grade, actually, ranking. And it has a very interesting notes on it. Pomegranates, you got all the pear in there, you got all the fruity, and it's quite high. It's about 2,000 meters above sea level. So I haven't opened my bag yet, but I'm ready to brew it. And next time I would like to present it to you using siphon.
Yeah.
And
siphon is one of the most unique brewing methods I think that I've seen, and it's a lot of fun to watch. It's a lot of fun to do. I do that on my live stream every now and again. I just put my siphon right there on my desk in front of my computer and let it brew, and it's just very interesting, very unique.
So some of you probably don't have much time to use the siphon, or you don't prefer that. It's fine. We're just giving you a little information of how you can brew your coffee in case some of you are interested of doing it on siphon. And of course, we're gonna be doing the usual, the brewing through.
This is like our litmus test here. This is I think we want to make sure we're doing a hand pour mesh every week and comparing it, flavor wise to the other brew methods.
Next week we're gonna be presenting to you three methods again. I would say that one is siphon, one is French press, and one is
the regular V6.
The regular, our regular. Let's name it the regular. The hand pour. We're not gonna be using here the machine. Otherwise, it's like sit there and just wait and just and chat.
We we're gonna have to revisit some of these beans because it would be interesting to see the machine brew and the French press, what they do to the flavor of this coffee. And it would be great to be able to bring that information to everyone. If you guys are interested, let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell.
Two guys.
Oh my God, I feel like a sellout when I say that, but you have to say that on YouTube. Otherwise, people forget. One last note. If you brew this coffee with a Chemex, do not let it get cold. This is just there's almost no flavor left as it's cool. It's just like before it was like water. Now it's just like, I mean, it's so plain. It's not, guys. This is not good cold.
And do not try to reheat it over your microwave. Otherwise, you might get a more solid and strong lemony taste and muddy and let me describe it. It's earthy taste.
Yeah, I mean, this is very.
It's not gonna be really.
This actually
pleasing.
does not taste like coffee. It doesn't taste like anything to me. It's
just
the
like,
strangest thing.
Simply.
You know, we've had other
Probably
coffees.
because it's paper.
Yeah, we've had other coffees that are okay as they cool down. The Starmaya, the Ethiopia, they stay very solid throughout the whole cooling process, and that's something that you could drink as it cools down. But I would not recommend brewing this in a Chemex. And letting it get cold.
Yep. Yeah.
You want to drink it fast.
And if you guys
as I sit here and drink it,
yeah,
guys, I just want the caffeine. Let's just be honest.
One last message from me. If you are interested of acquiring one of the beans that we serve you or have introduced to you, you just go ahead and send us a message, and we'll bring you at your doorstep.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, look up Coffee Haven Roasters on Facebook. That's KOFI Haven Roasters. You can see it up on the screen. Wait, it's over here. It's over here. Go follow, like on Facebook, and you can send messages through that. And
yes, exactly.
Get in touch with Glenn, and we can find a way to get you some coffee.
Glenn or Jim.
Yeah, get in touch with me if you want.
We can. Yeah. Any one of us. Then we can bring you that coffee at your doorstep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
That's it, yeah?
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Thanks so much for joining us, guys. We hope you'll join us again next week. It'll be the same time, about 9 p.m. Central U.S. time. It's 11 a.m. Tokyo time. I don't know any other time zones around the world. Those are the two I know, guys. We will see you next time. Bye.
Goodbye.